any swirling, and come down like a bird alighting upon a branch or their nest. Come down for a landing and settle into your own experience right now with the breath in the body. And then take a moment to give rise to a heartfelt motivation for your time with us together in your practice. And then from that space of contemplation and prayer, I'd like to ask Nina to offer us her beautiful Devi Pranam. And I've reposted the link. It only went to Nina the first time. Now it's gone to everyone.
Also, Chandra, I hit my recording button, okay? So let's start with 3 ohms together. And if you have the words, you're welcome to sing along with me. You can just listen. But the prayer is about bowing down to the goddess. It's a good way to set our intentions. Find a way to bow and at the same time expand to include all beings to whom we bow and who bow with us. Om Durgam Shivam Shanti Karim Brahmanim Brahmana Priyam Sarva Loka Pranatrincha Pranamami Sada Shivam Mangalam Shobhanam Shuddham Nishkalam Paramam Kalam Vishveshwarim Vishwamatam Chandikam Pranamamyaham Sarvadevamaim Devim Sarvaroga Bhayapaham Brahmesha Vishnu Namitam Pranamami Sada Shivam Vindhyastham Vindhyanilayam Divyasana Nivashinim Yoginim Yoga Jananim Chandikam Pranamamyaham Ishanamataram Devim Ishwarim Ishwara Priyam Pranatosmi Sada Durgam Samsaranavatarini Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma 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 Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma. Last time together. Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma.
Jai Ma. So today we will continue to dance the dance with the Devi in her various forms, and I would like to take some time now to share with you a very important Devi right now in our moment in history. And this is one of the expressions from the Tantric Buddhist tradition that came out of India, very much co-created alongside Tantric Hinduism. Out of the Vedas came the Hindu Tantras. Out of the Buddhist Sutras came the Buddhist Tantras. So there's a lot of overlap there, and that's where Devi, Nina, and I meet and dance too and sing. So from the Buddhist Tantric lineages, one of the greatest feminine Buddhas and Devis, you could say, is that of Tara. Tara is also not solely Buddhist. She's said to also be Durga in the Hindu tradition, sometimes Kāli as well. And there are many instances, both in Bengal and in Nepal and other parts of India, where one shrine or one temple will be devoted to Tara from both lineages, from both sides. Some would call her the blue-black Tara. Some would call her Durga. So it's important as Westerners to appreciate that and to understand that things don't come in a tightly bound, wrapped up box. And in a way, it's kind of naive thinking to think that the Buddhists were over there doing their thing and the Hindus were over there doing their thing. They were actually the great thinkers of the Tantric era, the medieval era in India, and even before, were co-creating reality. They were talking to each other, practicing with each other, debating each other, marrying each other. So there's a lot of fertile ground there. So Tara is really one of the most popular, if not important, Buddhist female deities, particularly when she took root and sprouted in Tibet. And that's more my area of study, is Tibetan Buddhism. Tibetan Buddhism is Indian Tantric Buddhism. And it's a very unique expression of the Buddhist teachings that evolved over centuries. And in the Tantric era, you see more elevation, acceptance, reverence for the feminine, both embodied as human beings, but also in principle. And so Tara is a great example of that. No matter who you are in Tibet, monastic, laity, everyone reveres Tara as like the Catholic Madonna. She's very, very revered and worshipped within people's homes and so on. And the most commonly known Tara, which literally means savioress, she's considered to be one who saves us from fear and suffering. The most common one is green Tara or white Tara. You may be familiar with white Tara or red Tara. Those are really the three most popular ones. They all have different superpowers, different missions, different gifts to give. But there's also a broader pantheon of 21 Taras. And what this is simply different ways to point to the source, different names for the ultimate. Like a ray of light, when it streams through a prism, it creates a rainbow. These 21 different aspects are those different expressions of the source. You have blue Taras, you have blue-black Taras, you have dark red Taras, golden Taras, green Tara, a few different white Taras. And the colors mean something. And as you get into the teachings deeper, you can appreciate what all those different meanings are. The Tara that we are working on today is the 20th Tara. Why? Because her superpower is to heal from contagious diseases and epidemics, pandemics. And her special symbol is called a zamatog in Tibetan, which is a medicinal vase that contains the nectar that heals all of these illnesses that we could experience in our life. And so in a moment, I'll guide you through a sadhana for the 20th Tara. And then later in the time together, Nina will share a mantra that with a beautiful melody that she's written, devoted to the 12th Tara, who's also ever important because she is like our environmentalist Tara. She helps to bring the elements into balance and calm fires, natural disasters, bring the world into balance through the elements and bringing timely seasons. And another one of her well-known powers is to also bring about healthy children. So abundance, healthy children, harvests, seasons, and a balance in our world. So we'll also explore the 12th Tara, as well as other chants from Nina as well. So I wanted to take a moment and talk about what are we doing when we're practicing a deity. In the Buddhist streams, it's called deity yoga. And it's a very interesting technique. It's like a mind training, or lojong, where we're purifying our normal perceptions of who we think we are on a mundane level. And we create new avenues, new neuronal connections for ourselves to find our way back home to our essence, our source, our true nature, which is ultimately the deity, right? So, like in Hinduism, I don't know, Nina could elucidate more perhaps on this, but my understanding within Tantra, it's in terms of a non-dual tradition, we understand that the deities may appear to us to be outside, but that's just the first kind of step on the path. And then ultimately what we realize is that the deity is none other than the nature of our own awakened mind. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that. It's a very important practice in Tantric Buddhism as well as other Tantric traditions. And when we say deity, the word we're talking about is the Sanskrit word Ishtadevata. Ishtadevata, which means one's personal or tutelary deity. So it's really the deity you have the most, kind of a strong karmic link with. Who do you feel connected with? Who inspires you? Who comes to you in dreams and visions? Who ignites your heart opening when you hear their name or chant their mantra? This could be understood as your Ishta Devata, and you can have more than one. The Tibetan word is Yidam. Yidam. And here I found them in my notes here. I'll paste them because it's not easy to spell. So the Sanskrit, well, the first word is the Tibetan Yidam, and then the second word is Ishtadevata. That is the word for deity. And so what we're doing with deity yoga is we are blending our mind streams with the mind of the deity, and then ultimately realizing that they are non-dual. Sometimes it's hard for a Westerner. I'll speak from a Westerner point of view. I'm not assuming that everybody on this call is a Westerner, but I'm saying in general, in terms of modern thinking and perhaps more secular arenas, this idea of deity yoga can be a little foreign. So I want to take a moment and explain it so that we can connect on a deeper level. Even for those who are familiar with mindfulness or vipassana or Zen Buddhist traditions, this practice of deity yoga where we recite mantra and do visualization might seem foreign or you might not understand. So deity yoga is a form of meditation that can help transform our normal consciousness of who we think we are, like, oh, I'm Chandra, who lives in Berkeley, I'm 47, I have 2 children. Also helping to transform even the more subtle expressions of who we are, like our neuroses or our hopes and our fears. It helps us to transcend this conventional way of experiencing who we are and helps us transform our consciousness, our perceptions, and activate qualities in our psyche that become our inner guide, our inner compass. So in a way, through deity yoga, we honor and embody the enlightened qualities already within ourselves. It's like we're watering the seeds within our mind stream that are already there. We water the positive qualities that are within us so that our wisdom nature can flower, can fruit. Deity yoga can also give us a sense of power, potency, well-being. Through practice, we can learn how to embody unconditional love and compassion that is a natural expression of these Ishta Devatas. It helps us to be less self-absorbed and kind of spiraled or caved in on ourselves. It opens the mind, giving us a vast perspective and appreciation for the beauty of existence, which I find is very important right now when we're facing so many challenges. And ultimately, deity yoga, which it's designed to do, can bring us to realization of our true nature, our Buddha nature, enlightenment. Another way of understanding it is, if you're familiar with the teachings on emptiness, which can sound stark, but aren't really, they're actually very warm and fuzzy. The understanding is that, like the Buddha taught, on anatman, non-self, which essentially means that there's no solidly existing small sense of self. That we're here, yes, but we're a confluence of all sorts of different karmic ripenings, causes and conditions that bring us into this moment, our shared experience. I seem to be Chandra over here, Nina's over there, you are all over there. We're not all one soup mixed together. We're individuals, and yet when you investigate kind of beneath the skin, beneath the surface layers, you realize there's no intrinsic nugget of self called Chandra. Like, where is it? Is it in the brain? Is it in the heart? Is it in my gut? Where is Chandra? And yet I'm here, I'm talking. So the Buddha taught we appear, yet we are empty of intrinsic existence. So that's what emptiness means. And early teachings on shamatha, vipassana, are all meant to help us have that realization that we are larger than the small sense of self. And deity yoga is another technique. It's like another skillful means, method, upaya, for realizing this anatman, this non-self, through identifying with something larger, vaster, our true nature, which is beyond the confines of this physical form. So here we are with Tara, the expression of the divine feminine, which all beings, whether you identify as a male, female, non-binary, transgender, can practice Tara. His Holiness the Dalai Lama practices Tara. Many men practice Tara. People all around the world pray to her and then merge our minds with her so that we realize our own essential nature, which is really beyond gender. Gender binary constructs, they're just that. They're just social, mental, conventional constructs. Even the Buddhists early on were saying, on the ultimate level, there is no gender. That is our true nature, beyond duality, beyond labels. And so when we imagine a deity and then we merge our minds with the deity, we become the deity and recite the mantra of any deity, it's like we are aligning ourselves with the energetic frequency of that enlightened energy so that we can open to it and channel it, become one with that. This is why devotion is very important, because the extent to which we open to that possibility, for Tara, for example, is to the extent that we open our hearts to receiving her blessings, then she can come. If we're closed, then she won't come. She wouldn't want to barge in if she's uninvited. So when we practice, notice, am I opening? Am I opening my heart? How open am I? Why am I withholding? What am I getting out of being pessimistic here? Why don't I just give it a try? Open the heart a little bit more and see what happens. Invite the blessings of Tara in. Yoga, and the other word in deity yoga, means to unify. The root is yuj in Sanskrit, which means to yoke or to harness, and also we can understand it as to unify. And it's a term used in all the different traditions from India in terms of how do we come home to the divine. So deity yoga is one method for that, which we will do in a moment. So I'd like to share with you an image of Tara, the 20th Tara, recognizing that we're looking at images of deities, but knowing these are just symbolic representations of the essence of our own mind, right? So we're not trying to reify Tara as some deity floating in space out there. And yet we like to look at pictures. We're visual people, most of us. And even if we don't have sight, is what I'm trying to say. We can still imagine in our mind's eye. We can visualize. Some people are better visualizers than others. Don't worry about it. It's also just so important to feel instead of try to get the perfect visual. But for fun, here is Tara in a statue, represented as a statue. We have 21 of these Taras in the temple at Taramandala in Colorado, founded by Lama Tsultrim Alioni, Nina and I's teacher. And you can see that she has 2 hands, 2 legs. Some of the other Tara traditions, like the earlier ones, Surya Gupta, for example, tradition will have many arms, many legs. Not many legs, many arms, many heads. And that is beautiful. But the lineage that I've learned is the Nyingma tradition of Dzogchen, where the Taras are a little more simple. They all have 2 arms and 2 legs, 1 head, 1 face. So this Tara, of 20th Tara, is a kind of a saffron, not saffron necessarily, she's like a golden color. And you can see the color of her halo there. And she is holding in her left hand a lotus flower. It's called an Utpala flower, which is, interestingly, a blue lotus flower, which is also very important in ancient Egyptian art and teachings. It's said to be an aphrodisiac and a minor hallucinogen. I've never experienced it, but I have a friend, a doctor, who has, and said it was quite pleasant. In any case, all of the Taras are holding a blue Utpala flower. And each of them have a different symbol on top of the Utpala flower. Hers is this Zamatog, Z-A-M-A-T-O-G. Zamatog is a Tibetan word for medicinal vase, which streams out healing nectar to all beings, relieving them from illness, disease, epidemics, and so on. You can see that her face is very peaceful. She has a peaceful disposition. Some deities are wrathful. Some of the Taras are quite fierce. Some are semi-wrathful, which is another way of saying they're joyful, they're blissful. This Tara is a peaceful Tara. And then she has her right hand resting palm upward on her right thigh. That is the mudra of generosity, or supreme generosity, which symbolizes her generous compassion for all beings. The other interesting aspect of her iconography is that she has these 2 legs, and she's not in full lotus position. She's seated, but in a posture called the horse dismounting posture. So 1 leg is forward, her right leg is forward, standing on a lotus flower, and that symbolizes that she's stepping out into samsara, that she's accessible to us, she's willing to help and to be involved in this divine play. This divine tragic comedy, we could say, of samsara. So she's accessible. All we have to do is call to her, open to her, and she will come and bless and save us from suffering. And then the other leg is tucked in nice and close near the perineum, and that symbolizes she's also simultaneously resting fully, resting in samadhi, in nirvana. And she's totally liberated and resting in nirvana. So she has those 2 elements. She's seated on a moon disk atop a lotus flower. And she's wearing all sorts of different gems and jewels. This symbolizes her tantric expression, a crown, and so on. And you may see here, last thing, something I don't usually point out, but it's on the crown of every Tara is a Buddha, Amitabha. Amitabha is the long life Buddha, the Buddha of great expansive light, and he's on her top knot. You won't see in these statues, but often in her tankas, she's said to have 7 eyes, actually, not just 2. This would be a 3rd eye here, with the coral is symbolizing her 3rd eye. Her other 2 in her palms of her hands, which aren't represented here, and then the last 2 would be on her feet. 7 eyes. Okay, she's a body of light, appearing yet empty, like a rainbow in the sky. So now we are going to do the sadhana, and I will share with you the text so that you can, Nina, I don't know if you've had a chance to put it in the Dropbox. If you could make sure it's in the Dropbox by the end of the class, perhaps that would be great. I'm sharing it as a screen share here now in a moment.
Do you mean the do you mean the Tara 20, the image?
Not just the image, but I emailed you the sadhana.
Okay,
It's
I'll put
the
it
PDF
in.
sadhana. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
I'd
I'd forgotten to send that to you earlier.
Okay.
Okay. So here is her sadhana that you'll receive in the Dropbox, and it is something that I composed as a way to help Westerners, help more modern-minded practitioners to access her more directly without too much ritual or complications. Sometimes the traditional sadhanas are quite long or detailed, and so I wanted to create a direct access to her, something that came to me through inspiration, through my own practice. And so each of the 21 taras have their own sadhana, and this is for the 20th tara. Her name is Drolma Ritra Loma Gyunma in Tibetan. This is an image of her as a woodblock print above. And the Sanskrit is Tara Shabari. Tara Shabari. What her name means is Noble Lady Tara of mountain retreat, who is clothed in leaves and removes contagious diseases. And this is the concise sadhana for her. And I will guide you through the whole practice here. We'll say a little refuge and bodhicitta prayer. But first I want to just show you, this formatting's a little funny. Oh no. Nina, don't share this one. This was a version that shouldn't be shared. But I do want to share with you this mantra. I can send a better version in a moment. The mantra is the most important thing anyway, which is Om Tare Tutare Ture Nama Tare Manohara Honghara Swaha. So all the Tara mantras have the 10-syllable root mantra Om Tare Tutare Ture, and then you would jump forward to the last syllable, Swaha. Many of you may already know her root mantra, Om Tare Tutare Ture, Swaha. And then each of the 21 taras has a little unique indication, some extra words that point to her deeper meaning. So we have Om, the universal sound of absolute consciousness. Tare means O Tara. It's evocative of her name Tara. Tut Tare can be divided in two. It means come near, and then Tare is O Tara. So O Tara, come near. O Tara. Ture means swiftly. So O Tara, please come near, O Tara, swiftly. Nama Tare means I pay homage to you, Tara. Nama is homage. Tare is her name again. Mano means the mind. Hara. Hara means to break through, or in a more forceful sense could be like to destroy. But what we're meaning is like overwhelm my regular thinking mind, manas. And then hong is the seed syllable, which also means to overwhelm, to overcome negativity. And then hara again, swaha, may it be so. So we're praying her to overcome negativities in the mind that can open us to disease, I think. That's my interpretation. May you please heal us from kind of dis-ease on all levels. And so now let's go ahead and just drop in and enjoy this deity yoga to the 20th tara. If you need to shift positions or get a comfortable seat, have a drink of water, feel free to do that now. And I will guide you through the whole practice. And you can keep your eyes closed if you wish, or you could follow along with the shared screen if you prefer. It's up to you. Also, if you'd like to lie down, you can receive this as a guided practice in the supine position. Please take care of yourself and make sure you're comfortable. Normally we begin with what are called the 9 purification breaths, but for the sake of this teaching, I would like to guide you through a simpler version called the 9 relaxation breaths. And so let's go ahead and close the eyes and begin to take some nice deep breaths. Releasing tension with the out-breath. We'll be sitting for about 25-30 minutes. And first, take a few breaths, breathing into any physical tension in your body. Allow the breath to breathe into any areas of physical tension, and then release that tension with the out-breath. Feel the tension melting down into the earth beneath you. And then take a few more breaths, breathing into any emotional tension that you may be holding in your body. Breathing into any emotional tension and then release, breathing out. Feeling that tension melting down, down into the earth beneath you. And then taking a few breaths into any mental tension, any worries, thoughts, concerns. Feel where you're holding mental tension in your body. Breathing into it and then release with the out-breath, melting that tension down, down into the earth beneath you. And now, either with the eyes closed or open, open your third eye. Imagine in your mind's eye, within the vast space of infinite dimension, appears a luminous golden saffron color Tara. Ritra Loma Gyunma. She appears in the space in front and slightly above you. She is radiant, yet empty of solidity, like a rainbow in the sky. Feel her, sense her, see her in front of you. And she's surrounded by other wisdom beings, other Ishtadevatas, any spirit guides, guardians, Devis, Devas, who you would like to invite into this space now. See them surrounding her like infinite clouds filling the space, witnessing you, supporting you in your practice. And yet she is more prominent. She is the primary deity. You can even imagine the other 20 Taras if you're familiar with them. Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, protectors, Dakinis. All the space filling with wisdom beings. And then notice notice that in her left hand is the gesture of the 3 jewels at her heart. She's holding the stem of the Utpala flower, which rests above her left shoulder. And upon this lotus flower is a medicinal container called a zamatog. And then see that her right hand is placed on her right knee, facing upward, palm open, in the gesture of supreme generosity. And she is clothed in medicinal leaves. And from the sun in her right eye, so the right eye is the sun and the left eye is the moon. So from the radiant sun of her right eye shines forth powerful rays of golden sunlight, which destroy all disease and epidemics. And from the moon of her left eye, a rich stream of nectar descends, returning all beings to perfect health. So in her luminous presence now, we recite refuge in bodhicitta prayer. Bodhicitta means compassionate intention. If you wish, bringing your hands together at your heart in prayer. And you can follow along with me if you want, out loud or quietly. We'll do it in 3 times. Inhale. Namo, noble Tara, you who liberates beings from fear and suffering, are the essence of all refuges. I take refuge in your vast loving compassion. In order to place all mother sentient beings in the state of enlightenment, I generate the 2-fold bodhicitta of aspiration and application. This 2-fold bodhicitta of aspiration and application. The aspirational aspect is the 4 measurables of love, compassion, equanimity, and joy. The bodhicitta in application is the 6 perfections of generosity, discipline, patience, diligence, concentration, and wisdom. So we cultivate those on our path. Namo, noble Tara, you who liberates beings from fear and suffering, are the essence of all refuges. I take refuge in your vast loving compassion. In order to place all mother sentient beings in the state of enlightenment, I generate the 2-fold bodhicitta of aspiration and application. Namo, noble Tara, you who liberates beings from fear and suffering, are the essence of all refuges. I take refuge in your vast loving compassion. In order to place all mother sentient beings in the state of enlightenment, I generate the 2-fold bodhicitta of aspiration and application. Really feel her presence, her joy, as she witnesses you make these pledges. And now in her presence, in the presence of all the wisdom beings, the jnana sattvas, the wisdom beings above you in space, we also become the Ishta Devata. We become Tara through the seed syllable Tam, which is her essence seed syllable. We'll recite it 3 times in 3 stages. With the first sounding of Tam, we imagine that we manifest ourselves as Tara Ritroma, saffron in color, peaceful and luminous. You're seated on a moon disk upon a saffron-colored lotus flower, and with your right leg it is extended slightly, stepping down to help beings in samsara. You can even take this position if you like to embody her energy, feel her. And then your left leg is close to your body, symbolizing resting in nirvana. Your left hand is in the gesture of the 3 jewels. You can take the gesture as the ring finger and the thumb tips touching. The other 3 fingers symbolize the jewels of Buddha, Dharma, Sangha fanning out. The 3 jewel mudra holding the stem of the Utpala flower. This magical blue lotus flower with 1,000 petals, which rests above your left shoulder. Upon the lotus is the medicinal container, the zamatog. Your right hand is resting on your right knee with an open, upward-facing palm in the gesture of the supreme generosity, and you are clothed in medicinal leaves. From the sun of your right eye shines rays of golden sunlight which destroy all disease and pandemics, we can say. From the moon in your left eye, a rich stream of nectar descends, returning all beings to perfect health. And then imagine that in your heart chakra is the seed syllable tam. You can imagine in English or Tibetan or Sanskrit if you know it. And that tam seed syllable sits atop a moon disk within a sphere of orange saffron colored light, and the size of the orb of light is about the size of a golf ball. And the tam is written like with a single hair. It's a luminous saffron color. So as we inhale, we prepare, and then we sound tam together, and we become Tara Ritoma. So feel yourself like a body of light, no longer just flesh and bone, luminous golden saffron, resting on a moon and lotus flower. Feel yourself take your seat. And now with the second sounding of tam, as Tara Ritoma, imagine you are sending rainbow light. Rainbow light is the essence of the purified 5 elements. So this wisdom rainbow light we send out from our heart center, from this saffron orange tam, making offerings. So the offerings are the rainbow light rays to all taras and all the wisdom beings in the space above you. This is your moment of offering. Inhale. Feel the Jnanasattvas rejoicing in that offering, acknowledging that generous offering of rainbow light. They've received it. It's permeated their heart space. And now with the third tam, it's time for us to receive their wisdom light. So imagine as we sound tam that the wisdom beings joyfully send rainbow-colored light back to you, blessing and empowering you. And you become fully activated as the luminous saffron-colored Tara Ritoma. Inhale. Opening to that truth of your true nature blossoming within you as Tara Ritoma. Really taking your seat Don't hold back here. Feel yourself as the deity. How would it feel to be fully activated? And now, as Tararitoma, we chant the mantra. The mantra devoted to her will spin around in your heart center, circling in a counterclockwise direction, meaning that if you were to look from above down into your heart space, the mantra would be swirling around counterclockwise atop the moon disk within the orb of light. And as it spirals and we chant the mantra, it circles out rainbow wisdom light in all directions. The mantra stands vertically on the edge of the moon disk and it faces outwards. And as we chant the mantra, imagine that light emanates in all directions, sending wisdom, healing light to all beings, purifying their illness, disease, epidemics, pandemics, the COVID-19 in particular, but all illness, disease-bearing beings are pacified. And also imagine that from the right eye, the sunlight streams out, purifying illness, disease. And from the left eye, the moonlight streams, curing beings of infectious disease and bringing them to full health. See all beings free from suffering and awaken to their true nature. And we'll chant about 21 times slowly, and then we'll chant, as it says in the instructions, like the buzzing of the bees, a little more swiftly if you can, but go at your own pace. I'll do 108 total. This is the enlightened activity phase of the practice. So as we recite the mantra, we imagine purification through light rays in all directions. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Tare Tuttare Ture Namatare Manohara Hong Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture. Now we chant like the buzzing of the bees under your breath. Less projected, more internalized recitation. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. If you need to go slow still, that's fine. Let the mantra resonate within you. Feel the spiraling around the heart center, sending light rays in all directions. The light streaming from the eyes, and the nectar streaming from the zamato at your left shoulder. With all of this, the healing power moves swiftly throughout the world, moving to people in need, areas experiencing hardship. Let your imagination take you there, to places, people, areas, animals in need. And sending this wish of healing and bodhicitta out to all beings everywhere. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare. Feel yourself as the luminous saffron-colored Vitraloma. Remember you're seated on a moon disk, a lotus flower, and the horse dismounting posture, fully centered within nirvana and accessible, stepping out into samsara to help beings. Feel your mudras, the left hand in the mudra of the three jewels holding a lotus, the right hand at the knee in the mudra of supreme generosity. You could feel your three eyes, your seven eyes, if you wish. The crown on your head, the jewels, the silks, you're in total peaceful bliss, sending out luminosity in all directions in the form of rainbow light from the heart, luminosity from the right eye, the moonlight from the left, and the healing nectar amrita from the zamato. Om Dhare Tutare Ture Namatare Manohara Hum Hara Swaha. Om Dhare Tutare. Likewise, all those wisdom beings, they're not just passive, they're also beaming light to all beings. So you're a team of luminous beings healing the world. Om Dhare Tutare. And for the last few moments, you can imagine now that everything is already purified, that everything is happening all at once. Everything is already perfect just as it is. Illness, disease, pandemics healed. Being suffering remedied. Rainbow light is simultaneously present in all directions, everywhere at once. The mantra can be silent now, and that samadhi of the mantra and see, imagine, feel that all illness, imbalance, all disease is purified, pacified, and healed. The sick are elevated and healed. And now the next stage is the dissolution. So now imagine that all the wisdom beings, all the universe and its inhabitants dissolve into joyful, radiant light. And that radiant light then dissolves into you as Tara Ritoma. And then you dissolve into light from the crown of your head and the soles of your feet, converging at the heart center, simultaneously converging at the heart chakra. Dissolving into the saffron-colored sphere of light at the heart, which contains the moondisk, mantra, and seed syllable. And then this sphere and all of its contents dissolve into the central seed syllable, tam. And finally, the tam dissolves from the base to the top. And the very top dissolves into luminous emptiness. Resting in that luminous emptiness, resting in spacious awareness, free of fabrications, free of distraction. Just rest in the dissolution. The eyes may be closed or open, slightly looking upward if you're familiar with Maha Mudra or Dzogchen. Emptying the mind, opening to space, luminous and wakeful awareness. And as the instructions say, as a natural flow, when you feel the mind stirring again in your own personal practice, you'll know when that is. When discursive thoughts start to swirl around a little bit in your mind, that's a sign that it's time to not push anymore, don't stay longer, just return now. And we return to our form as Tara Ritoma. So feel yourself as her again, luminous, saffron, body of light, powerful and fully integrated. And as much as you can, continue with this feeling, this visualization as you rise from your meditation seat and go about your day. You can also keep her mantra on your lips, throughout your day or night. And we conclude now with the dedication of merit. You can say it out loud with me, bringing your hands to your heart in prayer if you wish, or follow along in silence. Through this virtue of practice, may I quickly attain the state of noble Tara, the nature of your own mind. May I bring each and every being, without exception, to that state. And may all beings be healthy, free from suffering and its causes, and may they awaken to their true nature. May it be so. Swaha. I'll read the colophon just so you have a sense of where this practice came from. The sadhana was extracted from the practices of the 21 Taras in what's called the inner sadhana of Dechen Gyalmo, the Queen of Great Bliss, from the Longchen Yingtig, heart essence of the vast expanse. These are Dzogchen teachings in the Nyingma, the elder school of Tibetan Buddhism that I come from, in response to this great necessity during the extraordinary time of the pandemic of 2020. May any mistakes be forgiven by the protectors, and may it be of vast benefit to sentient beings. It's composed by myself in accordance with instructions from Lama Tsultrim Alioni, composed on Tara Day, April 1st, 2020. So that concludes the sadhana. Now you have it for yourself. I will make sure that you have the right version in your Dropbox by the end of the call. And I encourage you to print it out or to keep it on your device and do the practice on your own. This is yours now. You've received what's called in the tradition called lung, which means the oral transmission, where you've received from my mouth to your ears in real time. You've received the oral transmission of this lineage, of this practice, and therefore you are able now to practice it on your own. It doesn't mean you're allowed to teach it. That's a whole other thing. But you can practice it and bring it alive within you. It's always best to receive an oral transmission because these teachings were always originally oral transmissions. They weren't written down. And there's Shakti, there's power in that oral transmission. But having said that, if you want to practice with a friend, you can always invite them to do it with you, with the hopes that someday they can receive the oral transmission as well. So this is yours. Enjoy it, make it your own, and I hope you found it useful. Maho, how wonderful. Thank you. Nina, you need to unmute when you're ready. I still can't hear you.
Still not talking.
That's better. Now I can hear you. Yes.
I want to stay in this same stream. And the mantra that I thought we could share together is something that was introduced to me by a friend whose teacher introduced her to it. So since you're talking about receiving transmission and then sharing a practice, this is how this came to me. And it's specifically a mantra for Kāli, Maha Kali. Kāli, who is often shown in a fierce form, because she is made up of the Shakti of all the Devas and Devatas. And it's needed to combat the negativity, the danger, the suffering that's caused by the darkness. So the mantra is Om Krīm. So it's in the chat box, and maybe Chandra will share it again. So it's right at the bottom. Om is the first word. Krīm, sometimes it's also recited as Krīm, but in this case we're going to use Krīm, and it's a long I, so Krīm. Maha Kali. So Krīm is the seed syllable, just like we did Tam for Tara just before this. In this case, Krīm is the seed syllable that activates the energy of Kāli, that transformative power. Krīm, Maha Kali, so great goddess Kāli. Sarva Rogam. Sarva means all. Rogam is disease or illness or dis-ease. Sarva Rogam. Nasi, Nasi. Eliminate. Go away, basically, is what it means. May it not be so. So it's Om Krīm Maha Kali. Why don't you repeat that? I'm going to do this just like this, and then we'll add a little bit of a melody to it, very slight. And Chandra will count out 108 repetitions of this as well, 108 being an auspicious number. And since we're doing this practice to bring about auspiciousness, where we make all events that have occurred in our lives as a way for us to advance, to open up, to share, to help others. This is an auspicious moment for us to do that. So Om Krīm Maha Kali Sarva Rogam Nasi, Nasi. So it's Nasi, not Nasi. It's Nasi, Nasi, short A, because there's no line over the A. Okay. Again, Om Krīm Maha Kali Sarva Rogam Nasi, Nasi. Okay. Let's just do that together. And Chandra, if you would like to bring forth any one of the images of Kāli from the Dropbox, you can do that. And we'll just visualize in our minds this form of the goddess who literally went to all ends of the earth and all the ends of the universe and the universes, multiplied herself in many, many forms to catch every drop of blood that was about to fall to the ground, so that she could eliminate the darkness, the suffering. This is Maha Kali, and she's manifesting in each one of us. We ask her to give us her form. Help us help eliminate dis-ease, pain and suffering. Om Krīm Maha Kali Sarva Rogam Nasi, Nasi. Om Krīm Maha Kali Sarva Rogam Nasi 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 Nasi. So as we each chant this mantra from our little streams, we come together and form a river. And this river has extra power as we do this practice together. And the same is when we're not on this call, but even when we do our practice on our own, we're still entering into this stream. Perhaps some of us have had COVID, or some of us know someone who has had it and is suffering the long-term effects of it. And we know since early March, many people who've been out on the front lines, health workers, delivery people, growing food, providing food, driving trucks so that we can have everything we need. We send them this healing energy. Whenever something was about to happen, if I talked to Siddhima, she would say, "We will do prayers for you." So I really believe that when we do these type of practices, we can help. We can help in the way that we can. Some of us can actually physically do things that can help, like if you're a nurse or a doctor or a scientist or a researcher, or we can all just simply isolate, wear our masks, feed people, whatever it is. But doing these practices connects us with all beings who are suffering, including ourselves. So, Chandra, I'm thinking that maybe we'll just sing for the next few minutes, yeah. And Tara 12, we will not forget her, of course, because we have to talk about her every day. Literally, for the well-being of our planet, all beings living in it. But maybe in our next practice we can do that together. I think maybe for the next few minutes, let's just sing, not worry too much about looking at mantras or visualizing energy, any body or any image, but really just staying with the chant, coming back as soon as we feel like we might be pulled away and we are brought back. Remember, come back. And we'll sing very simple SitaRam. Sita came from the earth and went back to the earth, as the story goes. But I feel that she is the earth on which we sit, upon which we lie, upon which we walk. And SitaRam is in balance. It's that unifying force. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. Your turn. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. Now hear yourself. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. 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 Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRama. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. 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 Sita, SitaRam, Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. SitaRam, 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 SitaRam. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. We'll sing together. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. 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 SitaRam, SitaRam. Sita, SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. Sita, SitaRam. SitaRam, SitaRam. SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. SitaRam, SitaRam, SitaRam. In the Ramcharitmanas, when Ravan takes Sita away, Ram is longing for her, and he says to Lakshman, he says, with Sita gone, the leaves on the trees grow dry, the flowers wilt, they lose their color, the streams run dry, the birds stop singing, and the deer stop prancing. Let's bring her back. Let's bring her back. Chandra, do we want, if people have any, we have a few minutes if they have any questions or anything they'd like to share. If you want to put it in the chat, you can do that. It might be easiest. And Chandra can read it or answer if there's anything you'd like to ask. Or if not, that's okay. You know, Chandra, I really loved what you said earlier about just how when light goes through a prism, it breaks up into the many colors of the rainbow. Earlier on you said that. And somebody said to me that, you know, a true Buddhist would not be talking about deities. It's only the self, like the self is God, you know. People have things like this to say, and it's unfortunate because the beauty of this practice is what makes us do it, I think. All these mantras, all these images, these pathways, these streams. Yeah. So thank you. I'm seeing lots of thank yous happening. Did you want to close with anything, Chandra?
It's true that we, as human beings, we're creatives. You know, we love color, sound, sight, and touch, and awakening through the senses is very much a part of these our paths. We're in a body. I mean, we might as well learn how to use it, right? So, yeah, visualization, feeling, embodiment, and sound through mantra, and using the breath and the chakras. It's all within that creative energy found in Tantra that is, you know, often they say that if a tradition has stuck around for a really long time, it means it probably has something to it, right? That it has value, that it has helped people. And I definitely think that while it may not be the original words of the Buddha, traditions have to live and breathe and change and adapt to the people of their time, and that is what Tantra did. And the Buddha himself said anything that relieves suffering, anything that is true is dharma. So people who think, oh, visualization isn't dharma, they don't understand, you know, it's sad. So it's true.
So why don't you do just a little closing mantra or something, and then we can ask everybody to turn on their video and say goodbye as they leave.
Yeah. So with a great gratitude, great, always remembering to feel grateful. And as my mom used to always teach me, gratitude means the greater attitude. And we dedicate any positive merit and momentum and juice and power from our practice together for the benefit of others, for the benefit of all, including ourselves. Like a drop of ocean releasing into the vast, like a drop of water releasing into the vast ocean of positive energy, we release this drop of merit into that vast ocean, and it becomes limitless, endless. And may all beings drink from that beautiful water and find nourishment and healing. Thank you all for your practice. May it come alive in you. And we'll see you next month on the 27th of September. And thank you to Tibet House for hosting yet again and for supporting this work. Thank you, Nina, for your sisterhood and your wisdom and your beautiful voice.
Always. So you'll upload the correct document into the Dropbox?
Yeah, I emailed it to you if you could upload, right?
Okay,
I don't
I'll
know.
upload it, and then I'll send the link to everybody again, and also the replay for everybody who's registered. And look forward to seeing everyone again. Should we take a group picture?
Yes, you can do a screenshot, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to try to do that. If everybody will turn their video on for just a moment. Yes, there they are. Okay, ready?
I unmuted everybody. Say goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Awesome.
Take another one.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, Irina, nice to see you. It's been a long time. All right. Thank you, everybody. Ciao, ciao. Big love. Mwah.
Thank you.